You know, that was funny. One time I was doing stand-up and I heard this really funny comedian, and she mentioned, he or she, I can't even remember, was talking about Al Capone. And I was just thinking about how that guy's reputation is one of the great gangsters of all time. He's one of the most famous ones, but like, if you really read up on that guy, all the other mob guys were looking at the guy like, this guy's an idiot, you know? He's in the papers, he's courting the media, and he's walking around in a canary yellow suit. Like, this guy's days are numbered. He was sort of like the first, Teflon Don. It's kind of funny when there's like a mafia guy that also wants to be on like the OC, right? Like, I really feel like mafia dons were sort of the first, like, reality TV, show stars where you can't say they were famous for being famous or whatever. They were the ones, if you look at reality TV, so much of it is just basically people fighting with each other. And if you look at the mob, like, that's basically what they were doing. It was like the Real Housewives, meets, I don't know, the Valentine's Day Massacre or some shit. Yeah, and I just feel like it's amazing that like that guy got all of like this credit, and there was all of these other people that were around during that time, a handful of them, I should say, that evidently kept their profiles so low, people never even knew what they were doing. I mean, dude, that is when to quote the Seinfeld show, you are master of your domain. That you can literally be running this criminal enterprise, okay? And you're living next door to a banker who is also running a criminal enterprise, but his is on the legal side of stealing. So he gets to drive down the street wearing a top hat with the Cruella de Vil fucking long thing with the cigarette, right? And just driving down the fucking street in one of those, the ultimate I'm better than you limousine where the rich person is covered and the chauffeur has a windshield but no roof over him, so he has to be out in the elements getting a sunburn or getting rained on or whatever. There had to have been some sort of thing that you could put over the fucking driver. And then the gangster next door had to just sit there knowing that he had more money in the walls than this fucking asshole had stuffed in his fucking bank account, and just buy a more modest car and probably not even live near the banker. And the smartest ones from the beginning were trying to go legit. Am I going to sneeze? God damn it. Why did I smoke a cigar last night? The smartest ones, yeah, they weren't trying to get further into, breaking the law and that shit. They were trying to gradually go legit. And I heard like rumors that there's like one major bank, and I'm going to go Scorsese here, and I'm going to change the name and not, like when he says, when you watch Casino, he's always going, our friends in Kansas City, because he didn't want to get in trouble with the mob in a certain major city that maybe doesn't get the respect it deserves all the time. Yeah, this major bank evidently was started by the mob, because they were like, why the fuck are we over here, loan sharking? And when people don't pay us, we got to go out and break their legs and do all of this shit and worry that they're going to go to the cops. Why don't we get on the legal side of loan sharking and just become a legitimate bank? And then if somebody defaults, our enforcers are now the police, and they can come over there and kick everybody out and put their fucking couch on the sidewalk, and we'll get some other suckers in there, right? And that's the way it was. 2021. So, anyway, but having said all of that, like, so they had these things, these company cars, basically is this Instagram account that I started following. I mean, the picture was a 1977 Lincoln Continental. Okay? Now, who the fuck is paying attention to that car? All right? But I remember when I was a kid, I remember those cars. And I remember when I saw somebody driving a Lincoln Continental or a Cadillac, that meant one thing. You were rich. Your wife stayed at home. The meal was being taken out of the oven as you pulled into the driveway. Your children were afraid of you. You were probably banging your secretary. I mean, it was status. I remember when I was a really little kid, the guy across the street always had a company car, and every year or two, he'd get a new Lincoln Continental. And I remember in the early 70s, that's how old I am, I remember when he pulled in, and he put the brakes on when he got to the top of his driveway. His parking spot, he had a green Continental, and it had the brake lights, and then it had extra brake lights up near, right underneath the lower windshield, the lower part of the rear, the rear window. Jesus Christ, someone said the rear windshield, the rear window. And I remember just thinking wow, my dad has 2 brake lights. That guy has 4 brake lights. Everybody in this neighborhood has 2 brake lights, but that guy has 4. That guy is the most successful man in the world. I mean, Jesus, where are those perks? Do those perks exist anymore? That you get a company car? Actually, what am I talking about? The gap between, they pretty much destroyed the fucking middle class. You probably get your own goddamn yacht.